I'm Jacob Dunne, and I killed a man with a single punch.
You good, brother.
And meeting his parents turned my life around. I was on a night out. My mates called me. Oh, something's kicking off, something's kicking off. I went running down, and I just ran in, punched him, and then I ran away because I realised that he'd fallen over. My friends came around the next day, and they were all going, "Yes, Jacob, one punch, knocked him out." And I was just like smiling, do you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, my mates.
How did you feel then?
Yeah, so I felt almost proud, which it just makes me sick. It makes me sick saying that now. But yeah, at the time, that's how I felt. My mum, she was a childminder in the local community, and she'd saved up some money to take us on holiday. Went to Tenerife. Within a couple of days after getting back from that holiday, my mum's number rang on my mobile. I picked it up, and it was the police. I went to the police station, and the police said, "We're arresting you for murder."
So Jacob, what is it we're making today?
I've been trying to raise awareness of how easy it is for something to go wrong in a fight. You guys are literally the foundation of this project. We are making a community talking circle in the form of a bench.
Because talking is key, right?
Because talking is definitely key, yeah.
Where's this bench going?
This bench is going to my old primary school.
And that's almost like you've gone full circle to going back to your primary school, the very beginning, to start some positive there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So after the incident, can you tell us what was happening with the victim?
He had fell backwards and hit the back of his head on the concrete floor and went to hospital. He had swelling on the brain. They had to do surgery. I think he was in hospital for 9 days, and then tragically the parents had to make the decision to eventually make the decision to turn the life support machine off. The sentence was 30 months, 2.5 years in prison. I'd be ringing my mum and she'd be struggling. Because what ended up happening is the police went to my mum's house, said, "You've had a violent man in your house, he's committed this offence, you no longer can be a childminder anymore." And then she lost her job, she had to move out of the house, she started missing payments on the mortgage. Went into renting accommodation, had to sell the house, lost all the money. And then I'd be getting phone calls off my nan, and she'd be like, "Found your mum in a park, drunk." She had to be carried in by strangers.
A year goes round, we've come to the anniversary of the death of your victim. How were you feeling at that time?
The chaplain came to my cell.
You good, brother?
Yeah. He just helped me.
Touched you deep.
Just helped me actually access those feelings that I'd kind of been suppressing in a way where I just didn't feel terrible.
He's obviously touched by what happened.
Just seeing how emotional Jacob got kind of made me emotional as well. I think one of the things that's always helped me about carpentry is every day's different.
And you've got something you can keep for life.
Exactly.
I went to go see my probation officer 2 months after getting out, and she said, "The parents of the man that you've punched and who died want to speak to you." And restorative justice is a process where the people who have been harmed by a crime speak to the people who have harmed them to talk about the impact that the offence had. We went through a 2.5 year process of passing messages back and forth so they could have a better understanding of who I was, why I did what I did. They started to ask me questions like, how are you going to change? And started taking an interest in me as a person. And I was like, how are these people, how can they even care?
The victim's parents actually cared for you more than you cared for yourself. Did his parents ever use the word forgiveness?
The mum has said she forgives me. I never had the expectation to be forgiven. And I always made that clear. Currently, in my life, I'm delivering some training and interventions and mentoring in various places relating to youth or crime. Sometimes creative arts are a good way of making parts of my story more accessible to different audiences. So we have a play coming out called Punch, which is in my local theatre, the Nottingham Playhouse. And then I've written a book. I try to encourage education, making sure our schools are keeping people in school.
It seems you're doing a lot of positive out of something negative.
Some of that does come from a place of guilt, but that's also the really powerful motivator for me, is that I can't never lose sight of what happened in my life.
To be part of your story currently, to help with the bench and to be part of that, it is genuinely a real privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, bruv? You happy?
It's handshakes, is it? Huh?
That's a good sign. I'm really happy with it. I think it was great design, good idea by Circle, bringing people together face to face, open up and talk.
Yeah.
Great design.
It's worked out just nice. I love it. It's one of those stories that could be absolutely anyone in that position.
My name is Adetola Adeogun. I took the law into my own hands.
This altercation is all it took for your life to come crashing down.
I didn't know that it was equivalent to holding a gun. I literally was at the barber's. He said, there's something I really want to talk to you about. There's a woman that really needs help, as in desperate help. I'm like, how? I guess she has a child, you know, and where she lives, they've chucked her out of the house. I said, oh, okay. She goes, just wait there, she's gonna come here. I waited. She came, she went on 2 knees on the floor and was begging, please help me, please help me. She told me that she's been eating cornflakes for the past 3 months. I saw her daughter had snot coming out of her nose and but I felt really, really emotional, like these people actually suffering, like, whoa. And I was like, if you want to sleep at my place for now with your daughter, you can't stay here for more than 2 months, 2 to 3 at the max. Took her to my place and that was the beginning of a disaster. By the 3rd month, I went back to the house. The husband had moved from Ireland and moved into the house. Both of them are telling me that they're not going to move out.
You're paying the rent
I'm
still?
paying the rent, yes, and the gas and the electric. So I really needed my place back. I was begging and begging. I ended up being homeless because they won't let me move back into my house. They were in my accommodation from 2011 to 2013.
Did it hurt? Because you've done this out of the goodness of your heart.
Everything from me growing up, everything was in the house. Oh, my teddy bears from when I was little, things from my grandparents that I would never ever get back that I lost, you know? Little things like that were very, very personal and dear to me. But they're literally just, yeah. And it still catches me when I think about that part of what I didn't have to lose. Sorry.
Don't be.
I was fearful. I was totally afraid of them. This is where I went wrong, and I would always take accountability for my action. I decided, you know what, I'm not just gonna go there empty-handed. I had pepper spray with me. My intention was to go and talk to them. My intentions were not to be violent. I did not know the gravity of actually having a pepper spray on you. I didn't know that it was equivalent to holding a gun. So within that second, I pushed myself into the house. She goes, if you come closer, I'm going to beat you up here. I said, look, if you try to touch me, I'm going to spray this pepper spray on you. So I put my foot through the door.
You pushed her out
Yeah,
the way.
I pushed her out the way,
Son.
yeah. That's when she gave me a dirty slap from this side of my glasses, went to the floor. That was my trigger point. I sat down on the floor, I said, okay, no problem, the police is going to come here.
I'm all right in thinking that this situation, this altercation, is all it took for your life to come crashing down.
Yes. And it only takes a second to destroy yourself completely. I didn't realize that, they're charging you for GBH 5 years.
So Ade, what is it we're gonna make today?
It's an African-inspired stool.
Like the sound of that.
And why would you like to make it for your mum?
Well, first of all, we're African, I'm Nigerian. I'm a very proud Nigerian. My mum loves African artifacts. I mean, she's got them all over the house. If anybody I would give a credit to for supporting me all this way, to be honest, is my mother.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's do this.
Hey.
What would you do differently?
I would have walked away.
You've gone out of your way to help a lady and her child. For her to then do this to you, you must have felt like you've been stabbed in the back in a way.
Stabbed in the back, betrayed, lost. I had nightmares. It's given me a whole lot of PTSD and a whole lot of fear that I never even knew that I even had in me in the first place. My life literally turned upside down because of this. I just got goosebumps just going through my neck, sorry. Just remembering it.
I think she's a 100% genuine, decent person who was taken advantage of.
I still had some kind of sympathy for them, for whatever they've gone through in their life. I mean, for whatever the struggles that they've had in their life that has gotten them to this point to take my happiness away. Some way, somehow, I had to sympathize with her.
I don't have that kind of forgiveness. They've done me wrong and I'm still thinking about them. I don't have that in me.
It was knocked from GBH to common assault and possession. I got 18 months to serve 9 months in prison.
Tell us about your first few weeks in Holloway.
I couldn't eat, I stopped eating. I needed to speak to somebody and the only person I could speak to was my mum. I can't handle being in here. She said, don't forget yourself, you know who you are. And at that point in time, it just clicked. I did TMP class, that's temper management. From there, I kind of then was making friends. I did not judge anybody. No, it was more or less like, deal with it. That was the mentality that saved me.
Was the crime worth the time?
No. Nothing is worth my freedom. I do regret what happened that day. Fighting is not the way out. I've learned to choose patience and wisdom. And yes, pain is growth.
So what's that there you got?
My souvenir. I keep this to remind myself to keep out of trouble. This is a tag that they cut off, as we can see. And yeah, this is a reminder and a very significant part of my growth.
Where are you today? What are you doing now?
I'm working with a company called Social Value Portal, giving back into the community, helping young and adult women in prison and, helping them reintegrate back into the community. You need a support, system that can be the glue. I could be the glue for someone.
Oh, there's a finished article. What do you think your mum's gonna think of this?
You're gonna be ecstatic, this is gorgeous. I wish I was keeping it now.
Don't tell her about it, keep it. Where is home?
It will be right here in Nigeria. Yeah, that bit right there.
Nice.
In loving memory of my grandmother and for my mum. Home is where the heart is. I'm so excited and happy. I really love it. I mean, look at this. Look at the shape of this. I mean, this is beautiful.
Ade has, without doubt, shown the most love and appreciation for something I've ever made.
Mwah.
Ever in my 50 years.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna take this right home to my mum. We're gonna have some nice coffee on this tonight. So bye everybody.
My name's Francesca.
It's really touching.
I was addicted to drugs.
Her bitter end was being locked up in prison.
Prison was one of the best things that happened to me.
How did you get caught?
I remember it was after work and I was with my partner at the time and I had to go to Ashford to meet my guy and pick up a load of drugs. And he passed the hold all through the passenger side and he leant through and put it on the back seat. And I just had this good feeling and I pulled out the pub and this car come out behind me. Then the next thing you know, I was like, is that T-bone, do they call it? Where they one in front, one beside me, one behind me, just like took me out, smashed all the windows through, dragged us out the car. I said, the drugs are on the back seat, they're mine.
What was your sentence?
The original charges was conspiracy to supply Class A drugs, then drug dealing and basically drug money. I got 11 years, I served 3 years, 8 months.
Feel accountable for your actions?
I deserved my sentence, 101%. You know, I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I was just feeding my addiction or making money.
I know that you, what you want to make today is for your mum, but what are we making?
A tray.
A tray?
Yeah. When I was inside, they found out she was terminally with cancer. So she's basically bed-bound. She's not allowed to get out of bed. So I just thought it was something meaningful to have a tray, to have something sturdy to put on her lap. I just thought something just that she's gonna really, really appreciate it. She'll be so grateful.
Let's get it happening.
Let's go.
Do you feel in your life there's been a turning point?
I'd been in prison a few weeks and I had my first visit from my dad. And I've never seen my dad cry in his whole life. And he just looked at me and he said, you know how much drugs ruined your life. He was like, why would you sell them? Like, why would you do that? And he was, so it seemed making me feel emotional when I was saying it, but he was so disappointed in me. And my dad's my best friend. And I just remember walking back to my cell and I was like, that's it. Like, this is it. I know I'm serving a long time. I'm done. I'm done. And whatever I can do, I'm going to try and make my dad proud when I get out. I think it's the first time that I speak about it to people, but I feel like I just went in depth. It just keeps me wanting to prove my dad every day that I've changed.
Your childhood sounds quite idyllic.
My childhood was amazing. My dad and my mum loved me unconditionally, huge family. I went to church. I think it started from about 10 years old. I knew I was gay. I knew I fancied women, and back then it wasn't the normal thing. It wasn't, and that really messed my brain up, like, because I couldn't understand it. Then at about 11, 12, I knew that my parents were going to split. So I don't really know subconsciously if that was the start of it. I just took loads of drugs. My dad used to work 12 hours a day. Mum was always up in her room. So I'd be off my nut. I'd be high and they just didn't have a clue. When my dad left, that was when it escalated onto the really hard drugs. I tried to take my own life, basically, because I couldn't handle it anymore. I took an overdose and I went to hospital, had my stomach pumped and stuff. I remember just like crying, just don't want this world anymore. Like, I literally just don't want it.
Generally, what was prison life like itself?
I had really, really good things and really, really bad things. The mental health and self-harming in prison is horrific. I've seen cuts put up all up people's arms, all up people's legs. I've never seen so much self-harm, people screaming all night, kicking the doors. But then, you know, then there's good times. You become a little family. It's like, wow, this is without drink, this is without drugs. This is what it feels like to be clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is it you've got there to show us?
When anyone leaves prison, we'll get a book, and then like every prisoner will write in the book. One of my best friends in there, she actually made me this book. There's loads of stuff in it. So that's one of my best friends, Ron. That was taken when we was working in the staff mess outside, and then that's my other best friend, Nat. that we was really good friends with as well in prison. And then there's this bit here, so in one word, how would you describe Fran? I got nut job, crazy, special one, brave, loyal, naughty, friend, adorable. So it's just all cute little things like that.
Talking about good times in prison, one of the good times was your relationship therapy that you went through.
Yeah.
That helped you with your mum.
We do some really, really in-depth therapy. I spoke a lot about my mum and I explained everything and the breakup and how I blamed her. And one day I was challenged by my counsellor in front of the whole group, and it was like, I challenge you to have it out with your mum on a visit. And I spoke to my mum on a visit and I said, as a kid, I blamed you for breaking the family up. The next day I called home and I rang her, and I think it was the first time she ever said it to me. She was like, I'm proud of you. Like now, she's just like my bestie, you know?
Fran, you're obviously very strong-minded, got a strong will. You've turned your life around now, and the proof is in the pudding.
I never realised how much my whole life I was quite selfish and I would justify everything was everyone else's fault but mine. Just take accountability, own it.
At this stage in your life, where are you now? What are you up to?
When I was in prison, I always heard girls say there's nothing that prepares you for prison. When you Google prison, like what to expect, what do I need to do? There's nothing. My brother was like, set up YouTube. He's like, do YouTube. So I did, just basically, it started off that I just wanted to prepare women for prison. And it was about like campaigning about women having shorter sentences. It's not right. You know, you do a couple of months inside, they lose their kids and their homes for such a short sentence. They could deal with it in other ways.
With all the hard work you've just done, let's see the finished product, eh? And your tray in its resting place.
It's absolutely amazing, guys. Thank you so much. It means more than you know.
Fran's story today was emotional for me. It touched me in a way I didn't think it would.
I hope this makes your day.
For people to come by and tell their story like Fran did today, it's really touching. It's really touching. It takes a lot.
It's almost like a stone rolling down a hill. You can't stop that momentum until you get to the bottom. You have to roll it out and see it through to the bitter end. And her bitter end was being locked up in prison. That's where her real life story now begins.
It's been amazing today. I've had a really wonderful day, and yeah, this is going to absolutely blow her mind. I can't wait to get back and show her.
Lovely.
You like that?
Brilliant.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
My name is Mark Bracewell, and losing my eye helped me see.
You're lucky to be here.
So Mark, tell us about yourself.
We'd been out to a nightclub 2016 to 2017 New Year's Eve, and we went to an after party in a Jamaican restaurant. The person who I was with had their beef going on with whoever they had it, which I wasn't aware of. When they started fighting, instead of walking away because it was nothing to do with me, I decided to jump in. And unfortunately for me, he was carrying a knife, and he pulled it out and he shoved it in my face. The blade went in here, above my eyebrow, went through my eye, so it split my eye open, severed my optic nerve, then shattered my cheekbone. He then pulled it out and stabbed me in my top of my shoulder, bottom of my neck, and ran off and left me to die. And I remember everything just going dark instantly. Everything slowed down, you know?
You're lucky to be here.
100%. So it wasn't a small knife. The surgeon said that it was 1 millimeter away from my spinal cord. I'll show you. So that's what I have now. Yeah.
What was the healing process? How long did it take?
Months and months to healing.
What's made you want to share your story today?
How you can turn a negative into a positive, and I'm the proof to show that.
Positivity.
Yeah.
Mark's story's been absolutely mind-blowing. It's thought-provoking. However, the guy is just so positive.
What was it you wanted to make?
I've got a 3-year-old son, Zion Ezekiah, and me and my wife, we love doing things together. And at the moment, he loves dinosaurs. It's his favourite go-to when he's in a situation he doesn't fully understand. He'll be like, rah! You know, that's the way he communicates. It's his coping mechanism, I think. So football, dinosaur, jigsaw. Yeah. Bless.
When did you slip to the other side of the law?
My first ever crime I committed would have been stealing sweets from the shop. I had a paper round when I was about 12. Then it elevated to breaking into cars, robbing stereos, to then burglaries, to then wanting to have a more of a steady income. So I would start selling cannabis, which then obviously led to selling heroin and cocaine, which then led into gangs and gang activity. From the age of 18, I had a crack habit. I was around drugs and selling drugs, it was always around me. So ultimately one day I went out and committed a robbery with a knife because I had nowhere else to get funds because I'd lost my job. I ended up getting caught and going to prison. And I got 7 years, 7 months.
When you was running around with a gang, how did that affect the victims, like the victims of your crime? Did you ever consider that?
When I held that person at knife point, he was my victim. He was a taxi driver, by the way, yeah? When he couldn't go to work the next day, yeah, his child was a victim of mine. The things that I did had an effect. And yes, the people that I affected physically there and then, but it carries on and it has a ripple effect. Hurt people, you know? And unfortunately, I was somebody that was hurt, and I used to hurt a lot of people as well. I was hurting myself, you know, so I was just adding to the pain and the hurt that I was already going through. I feel sorry for the things that I did. I can never change the things that I did. I can never put that right. For me, my life started to change from me losing my eye. I truly believe the reason why I'm stood here right now is because of that incident. When I was in prison, towards the end of my sentence, I started writing and documenting my life.
You got a poem?
I could never tell you what the back of the little cupboard underneath the stairs looked like. It was blocked out by my very own figure of a child, as I would often run into the wall banging my forehead, as I would race to take cover in my very own air raid shelter, as the bombs and missiles were released upon my mother's body. I would hear her cry for him to stop, my mum.
Who would know what's going on behind that smile?
That moment in that picture, that smile's not real.
Did you witness anything that would affect your mum? The abuse your mum suffered?
Yeah, so not only witnessed, but I was a victim of that abuse as well. So my mum got married to a man who then had my youngest brother and sister too, who he was the perpetrator. He was the person that would abuse my mum and abuse me. Physically, to the point where my mum still walks with crutches today. To keep me safe from the abuse at home, my mum would send me away at the weekends. But she didn't know at the weekends I was then being sexually abused as a child.
But the strength the man has and everything he's been through, I really find it inspiring. It was touching. I felt like I was going to be in tears at some points.
When I was growing up in Manchester, it was renamed by the world's press as Gunchester because of the amount of shootings that happen there daily.
Anything that you witnessed yourself?
Yeah, I witnessed my first murder at 11. It was something that happened on a day-to-day. Like when I lost my first friend at the age of 14 and he was shot dead. That was the life that we had to navigate living where we lived, you know?
That's a young age to witness that. A lot of people can tell a story about bad things that's happened or criminality from the past, but it's the ability to turn it around. And not only has he bettered his own life and he's doing great things for himself, his wife, his son, he's helping other people. You do charity work now?
It's a company, it's Blindly Faithful Limited, although we do charity work.
And that name comes from the loss of your eye?
Yeah, yeah.
Last piece, leave it over to you.
He's gonna love that. Thank you very much.
Mark knows what he's talking about. He's the one that's walked the walk, so now he's got the right to talk the talk.
Zion, you made my brokenness whole. I found today really emotional. Every time I tell my story, little bits of it come out that remind me of things. I love the fact that I'm gonna leave here today with something that we've done together and that my son's gonna get to enjoy something for many years to come and even maybe pass it down to his kids in the future.
Inspirational.
Thanks, Wes.
Wow, this was my brother.
Do you know what it is, Zion?
Dinosaur.
Yeah, dinosaurs.
If it wasn't for my dad, I think I'd be dead.
Well,
Or in prison. Without you and without carpentry to fall back on, life could have been very different for me. It was going down a different path at one point.
oh no, I know it.
Thinking back on it, it's kind of embarrassing. I'm thinking back to who I was then, and who I was then just is embarrassing. The mentality is embarrassing, the behaviour is embarrassing. I was very stubborn, wasn't I?
100%.
I'll never forget, it was the World Cup, it was 2010, and I remember USA knocked out England, so everyone in the pub was upset getting knocked out by the USA. And then the whole pub sort of kicked off. Everyone else sharing their story that made me want to share mine. Everyone being so open and honest made me think, you know, maybe it's time I do that as well. It's stuff that I'd never spoken about or I'd never mentioned it to anyone. It feels good to get off my chest, yeah. It's just good to be honest, isn't it, really? So, I'd like to make you something.
Blessings to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a surprise. You're my apprentice today. So you can just help me make it and you'll see what it is at the end. Got hit with the mace, I've got the cuts in my face and all on my nose. And I thought, you know, I need to protect myself. So I went home, got the sword and then came back.
Why did you go and get the sword?
Reputation. It was all reputation. I had too much of a rep. It don't matter how many people there are, what's going on, you can't walk away. And even saying that now, as being in my mid-30s, it feels stupid to say that. It is quite embarrassing because people could have ended up dead, I could have ended up dead, all over reputation.
When you came round here and you was all busted up, I remember you walked in the door and a chill went through me. And then I could just feel the tears in my eyes just welling up. I had to stand on the stairs to hug you. Oh man, that was an emotional ride, 100%. That really was, that really touched me. And I just thought to myself, what can I do for this boy? How can I get him out of this?
Thankfully, no one got hurt except me. I was talking to the solicitor and he told me what to actually expect in Crown Court. When he told me you can get 5 years for a fray, you can get 5 years for the offensive weapon.
So when you was in the courts then, what was the sentence in the end?
They were talking about 5 to 7, but the judge, because there was no one else in the courtroom, whereas the 70 he was against, the judge basically threw out, he gave me a 2-year suspended sentence. I was banned from the county, the whole county, and a load of probation.
Where was the situation with you and your then girlfriend?
She was pregnant at the time, and then about 3 months after that, she just ran away, disappeared.
You've not seen her since?
Not seen her since. I was losing my mind, because after having been banned from the county, losing my flat, everything that happened, and then now she's ran off and given birth. Yeah, that was hard.
I don't know half of your stories. How bad did it get?
I'd taken overdoses and had doctors saying you should be dead. I tried to hang myself and the rope broke. And then all of this is going on at the same time as just after that incident. It all just tied into as I am invincible. It's insane. I think I was literally mentally ill.
It's really sad to hear all of this. It really is. I just can't even describe how it just makes me feel. It's sad is the only thing I can honestly say. Because if I could have offered you more help at the time, or if I could have taken the pain for you, believe me, 100% I'd have taken it. So me and your mum broke up. Where would you say this downhill spiral started for you?
For me, it really started in primary school, early 90s. Things were more racist back then. I could count the number of non-white kids in our school on one hand, and me and my sister were two of them. Like, literally. So it was quite racist out there. So I think it originally started with defending myself, defending me and Destiny, having to fight, and then being good at it and being one of the tougher kids, and then it started off as a fighting reputation, and that goes into secondary school. And then after you leave secondary school, now you've got this reputation and you're on the streets, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Do you know, I always thought, for years I thought, not being there in the week, because I only had you on the weekends, I'll always blame myself.
Nah, you've got to take responsibility, innit? Losing everything, you end up, it was starting fresh. Had to start fresh, I had nothing. So I think that was a real turning point. What was it, 2018 when I came back up? And you called me and you said, what are you doing? Do you want to come and work on the movie set? And then ever since, I threw myself fully into it because it's different and it's something to be proud of, really. I still got all the experience you gave me growing up since being 11. And now people just tell me I work too much. People genuinely say, do you ever stop working, really? Because all I do is work. Every day's a work day. I've just focused so much on carpentry now, and it's come good. And look where we are now.
Glad I took you to work with me.
Glad I came to work. I don't know what I'd be doing otherwise. I'm really thankful.
All that you've told me, you definitely 100% you've touched me. There was a time when there's no way we could have done this. Absolutely no way. I can sit down, I can converse with you. It just really warms my heart. It really does. And I'm just proud of you, man. I'm 100% proud of you.
I love that, Dad. That's all I want, really. I want you to look at me the same way that people look at you. Then that makes me feel proud of myself as well. Is your key box, Dad?
It's tidy, looks very good. I'm impressed. Every time I use this, I shall think of the drama, the story that you told me today.
We've got a little bit of writing inside for you if you want to have a look.
Dad, thank you for everything you have taught me over the years. You are the key to my success. Here you can store your keys. Love, T.Y. No, I love it, man. Good thing about it is, it will be good thoughts, knowing that you've come through and become this person you are, standing before me right now.
Appreciate that, Dad.